What's going on, guys? With WandaVision wrapped up, you probably think there's no other MCU material to talk about. But that's where you're wrong, because with Disney Plus, it never ends. We have Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up in less than 2 weeks, and it looks like a big part of the show is going to be focusing on who's going to be worthy enough to take over the mantle of Captain America. The Captain America name is more than just the identity of Steve Rogers, it's a concept. It represents American ideals and values, and throughout the years, there has been a number of individuals who've carried the shield. So today, we'll be looking at everyone in comics who's accepted the responsibility of being Captain America. I'll start with the 5 that have been, or are rumored to be, coming up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And not everyone has been a winner. Some have gone down in hilarious fashion. Of course, we have to start with the original Steve Rogers, who's been carrying the shield since 1941. A man rejected by the military, he eventually signed up for Project Rebirth, where we got the super soldier serum, and him and his sidekick Bucky beat up a bunch of Nazis. He's of course frozen in ice, and is eventually discovered, and still fights to protect the flag today. Next, let's go to Sam Wilson, typically known as the Falcon. Unlike the MCU, Sam has no military background, but was actually a social worker. After donning the Falcon persona, he partnered with Steve Rogers for many years, gaining his trust and respect, and when Steve was drained of his super soldier serum, he became too weak to continue as Captain America and passed his shield to Sam. Sam, as Captain America, faced much criticism. He was criticized for not having a military background. After quitting S.H.I.E.L.D., some people started to call him Captain Socialism, and was even cast out by his hometown for them believing that he sold out and didn't spend enough time in the struggling communities he grew up in. After Steve recovers and becomes his normal self, Sam eventually returns to S.H.I.E.L.D. after the events of Secret Empire, which a cosmic cube turned Steve Rogers into a Hydra agent, and he took over the country. The next best known version of Captain America is his best friend, James Buchanan Barnes, also known as Bucky. Bucky stood right next to Captain America in 1941, Captain America #1. After Bucky is thought to be dead and turned into the Winter Soldier, he eventually returns to Captain America as a good guy, and when Sharon Carter is mind-controlled and kills Steve Rogers, Bucky is asked to take up the mantle by S.H.I.E.L.D. director Tony Stark. And because it's comics, Steve Rogers doesn't stay dead for long, but after he comes back, he actually tells Bucky that he should keep the shield. But once Bucky is put on trial for his crimes as the Winter Soldier, he returns the title and the shield back to Steve. Now the next version of Cap is rumored to be in the show. I'm not positive it's actually been confirmed yet, but that's Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah is an African-American US soldier. After Steve Rogers was injected with the super soldier serum, Dr. Erskine was killed. And with his death came the death of the super soldier serum too, because he was the only one who knew how to make it. However, the US Army wanted to recreate the serum and began testing on Isaiah and 300 other African American soldiers. Isaiah was one of the only survivors of these experiments and still fought bravely against the Nazis. When he was sent on what seemed to be a suicide mission, he steals Captain America's costume and shield and planned to go out in a blaze of glory. Although he survives the mission, he is captured and tortured by the Nazis. And when he's eventually freed and sent back to the US, he's not met with praise, he's actually met in court, where he is sentenced to life in prison for stealing Captain America's costume and shield. He eventually gets a pardon, however, his body and his mind become broken after the years of experimentation on him. The last version of Cap, who is believed to be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is John Walker, a veteran of the US military. After leaving the military, he received super strength by a shady company called Power Broker Inc. He then took on the name Super Patriot and believed that he is the one who stands for America's true ideals, and he set out to disgrace Captain America. After the US government forces Steve Rogers to step down as Captain America, the US government then gave John Walker the mantle. And unlike Steve Rogers, Walker had no issues with violence or killing to get the job done. And with a mindset already prone to violence, he had a mental break after his true identity is revealed and his parents are both killed. He then tracks down the people who killed his parents and murders just about all of them, and then attempts to kill 2 of his old teammates, who was responsible for his identity being leaked. This all leads up to Steve Rogers and John Walker facing off against each other, and Steve eventually defeating him. The government eventually fires Walker for not being able to control him enough, and he comes back as a hero though, as US agent. In a nutshell, he's very patriotic, but kind of a violent nutcase. Coming up next is Anti-Cap. His real identity is never known, and his story is very similar to the other Captain America's. The US Army, still trying to reproduce the effects of the original super soldier serum, gave Anti-Cap a drug similar to the one that Luke Cage received to get his powers. Anti-Cap, like John Walker, is a more violent version of Rogers, but less patriotic than Walker. His main goal was to end the war on terror. Anti-Cap is mostly used just as a puppet for the US government till he is able to break free of their control, and when he's captured again, he actually commits suicide. Next up is William Burnside. Now this is a weird one. As a boy growing up during World War II, he was obsessed with Captain America. And as he grew older, he kept his fascination with Captain America. He eventually becomes a professor, where his main study is Captain America. He then travels to Germany to better understand Captain America during World War II. And when he's in Germany, he finds a journal with a formula of how to make the original super soldier serum. He then goes back to the United States, presents his findings to the government, and they agree to make him the next Captain America. And he goes as far as getting plastic surgery to even look exactly like Steve Rogers. However, before he can don the mantle of Captain America, the government shuts him down. After a UN building is attacked, he injects himself and his partner with the super soldier serum and takes on the mantle of Captain America and his sidekick Bucky. In time though, he starts to become insane. And this is because he didn't take Vita Rays like Steve Rogers did before injecting himself with the serum, and this causes him to lose his mind, leading him and his partner Bucky to attack basically everyone in sight. Years later, he's brainwashed and becomes a white supremacist leader. Certainly not the best version of Captain America. We then go to William Nastland. Now he's going to be the second Captain America. So he takes the mantle of Captain America after Steve Rogers is frozen in ice. He was recruited by the US government to replace Cap because William was already going by the costume hero known as the Spirit of 76. He only served as Captain America for 1 year and is unfortunately crushed to death by a robot named Adam 2 in an attempt to assassinate John F. Kennedy. It's certainly a strange way to go out. The third Captain America is going to be Jeffrey Mace. He too was a hero during World War II known as the Patriot. And after both Steve and William disappear as Captain America, he took on the mantle. And he served for 3 years. And he had a pretty good run. He ended up marrying his sidekick, Golden Girl, and the two of them retire and have a happy rest of their lives. The rest of the list is going to be some of the more unimpressive versions of Cap throughout the years. And we start off with David Rickford. David, who actually had super strength, took on the role as Captain America after Bucky was put on trial for his crimes. Rickford went on one mission, which he was almost killed, only being saved at the last minute by Steve Rogers himself. And after their mission, Steve sits him down and tells him, if you keep this up, you're going to get killed. And Rickford steps down as Captain America the next day. We then go to Bob Russo, who's going to be the first citizen attempt at being Captain America. This takes place when Steve Rogers is alive and fine, but is fighting with the government still, so he stepped down as Captain America. And Bob, on his first mission, gets his arm broken and steps down immediately. At least it wasn't crushed by a robot. We then go to Roscoe Simons, who was another fill-in Cap while Rogers was in his nomad phase. However, he did actually get the blessing of Rogers to be Captain America. And during this time, he trained with Falcon. And Falcon and Roscoe go out for their first mission. And again, this new Cap is killed immediately by the Red Skull. And finally, and one of my favorites, is Scar Turpin. So Scar is a biker and self-proclaimed tough guy who takes up the mantle after the failed attempt by Roscoe Simons. He makes a replica shield and costume, and in his debut appearance as Cap, he tries to break up a mugging, but after the muggers call for reinforcements, he gets the crap kicked out of him. He does retire after this. His one regret, however, was not bringing his trusty tire iron with him in the fight. But that's everyone who's taken on the mantle of Captain America. That's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you slap that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.